I thought it was gonna rain today, but yeah, looks like the sunlight's coming out. And actually there's a lot of cherry blossoms and stuff starting to come out in the trees. That's actually one of the things I wanted to capture with the drone. Maybe I'll still get a chance because I still have some good ideas of areas to go to capture drone footage. Some of this is literally out in the middle of nowhere, but there's actually things like waterfalls and so forth. But I just have to wait to see when the weather clears up, because according to the weather forecast, it's supposed to be raining like all week. So I just need to find the right time. I think it'll require quite a bit of a walk too. I think it's like a 10-kilometer walk through a lot of muddy terrains and stuff like that. I don't know, should I be bringing bear spray and stuff too? Gotta be prepared. I don't think I can find anyone adventurous enough to go with me as well, so I might do it solo. I will see. I actually haven't heard much about the battery that I sent back, the one that had the scratches and stuff like that. It's still under repair status currently. So actually that'll actually be good actually if I get that battery too before I make the little journey, because if I'm going to be walking that far through all the mud and so forth, I'd rather have 2 batteries to try to capture you know, as much drone footage and stuff as possible. Let's see, what's some weird stuff I read before I left. I don't even know what this Pepsi ad thing is about, but this thing has been trending and so forth, so I did actually watch it to see what's so controversial about it. For the most part, I would say it's just kind of dumb, like, or silly. Okay, everybody arguing and so forth, they drink like this Pepsi and so forth, and they all become happy. I know, to me it's one of those cornball like commercials, which I personally don't think is that effective in terms of getting someone to use the product or drink the product in this case. I know for myself, since I consume a lot of digital media, I know people often say, stop watching like stuff like that if it doesn't, like, you know, relate to you and all that. But I know for me anyways, I like reading about news and stuff like this, even if it's in, say, industry or topics that I don't specifically have an interest in, because in many ways I think it will affect like yourself as well, because you kind of get an idea of what people's current fears and stuff are, because you never know, it might actually just come back to what you're related to. Like even for me, like with the drones and stuff, I mean, realistically, like in the big picture, not a lot of people care about it. Like in the sense of, okay, like the laws are dumb, so what do I care? It doesn't bother me. So at the same time, I'm thinking it from the other end, like, well, people like us, we need support of, you know, people to be educated and so forth. So for me, that's why I watch like stuff like that as well. Keeps an open mind, which actually kind of relates to some of the stuff I read today. So the first article I read was actually one article that you guys linked. It had to do about flying drones, which funny enough, it was in the city where it was the first time actually when I had like met the drone people, like for the meetups. That's where I actually bumped into the bylaw officers. The first time I actually had an incident with like a police officer, so to speak. And I guess this article was talking about how regular people, when they see people flying drones, they automatically assume like, you know, it's a huge privacy issue. Like while they can see the benefits of people flying to get like pictures and stuff like that, they feel like, well, you know, because of the privacy issues, you should have restrictions where you can't fly here and there. But to talk about the privacy and stuff, it actually does make me wonder how a person like myself would actually go about showing people, like, you know, when people, again, when they're taking like aerial videos and stuff like that, like you might be in the shot, but honestly, people are after like the scenery and all that. Because I even kind of mentioned it before. I feel in many ways a lot of the voices and stuff for the drones right now, it's a little bit too technical, where we're basically saying things that a drone flyer would already know. Whereas in many cases I feel it is kind of important to do stuff that educates the public as well. So how would people go about that? Because I know for me, again, like I try to create drone videos, and even like I said, when I go hiking and so forth, it seems like just that one little action educates people so much. Like their perception is completely different when you show them what it's like. Wow, would you rather be in the lake if you were those ducks? I guess they weren't feeling too social today. The other interesting bit of news I read today had to do with drone flying and commercial pilots, and how commercial pilots are actually worrying about the new recreational laws. And this is actually kind of interesting to me, because in the beginning, from what I read, most of the articles had companies or people who already had like SFOCs, like apparently, according to the media, like praising like the new recreational laws, like in a sense saying like, yeah, it's good, like these laws, like we're the safe flyers, they're the dangerous ones. So good for them for making these laws. But for this article, it actually shows like a different perspective, where there are commercial flyers who have the mindset of, well, it affects us all, because if the government and so forth is restricting a recreational flyer and so forth, what do you think can potentially happen next with a commercial pilot? And I think that's actually a really good point, which actually, again, that's why I mentioned before, like about watching things and so forth, where even though it doesn't necessarily relate to you, it might be important because you never know when you will be affected too. Because I'm actually personally surprised, like for those commercial pilots that do already have like SFOCs and stuff, how they're not like in many ways, like for some people rather, like how they're not actually trying to help, like say the recreational hobbyists and all that, or at the same time realizing, again, like with that point where, hey, if they're that like strict and narrow-minded and making the laws like that way, what do you think they're gonna do to you guys afterwards? Although speaking for myself personally, I've actually had a lot of great help and experience so far, like even from this channel. Everyone, whether you have a commercial license or not, I mean, all of you guys have been putting your thoughts in, giving me like advice and all that, so I think that's great. I think that's what's necessary to like move things forward and all that. Well, things like these statistics they mentioned in the article, I'm still wondering about. Like it says here, Transport Canada will argue. With that said, it said that the number of report incidents of drones flying in a way that poses a threat to safety, security, or privacy has more than tripled since 2014. There were 148 incidents in 2016 compared to 41 in 2014. And I personally don't feel that's a reason to have like these ridiculous generic blanket laws, and at the same time, I don't even know what these reports are, because to my knowledge, they haven't even released it. I always wonder about statements like this, because even thinking in other industries, like with quotes like these, like sometimes people say like a certain operating system is more secure than the other one because that other one, look at how many incident reports there's been. When in reality, the reason for that is because there's just way more users like on that system versus the other one. So I'm wondering if that's the case in many ways here, which if you think about it, it doesn't necessarily mean like say one group of people or say more dangerous than the other. It's just that there's more of them. So you never know, maybe the percentage is like actually really low in terms of like the dangerous people, which kind of distorts like the narrative of like, oh, these guys are really dangerous and it's growing, like I have so much more reports, when in reality it could just be because of like this user base, if that makes sense. Not to say there shouldn't be like any kind of law, for example, because even I said again, I mean, there are like people who fly it like in a dumb way and all that. And speaking about showing the public like the drones and stuff like that so they won't be afraid of it, let's find something to edit. And hopefully that gives perspective too. I mean, for those who don't fly drones and are worried about the privacy and stuff, you know, just have like an open mind. If you're able to like watch people like fly drones like in your area and stuff, I would encourage you to do so. Although with the Transport Canada rules right now, does that count as quote commercial work? If some hikers ask me to go hiking with them so I can capture some footage for the memories? Oh man. All right, anyway, see you guys later.